We are back in the splendid necropolis of Saqqara. I'm afraid it is so pretty yet late. Why don't we return tomorrow? Early to bed and early to rise. And the rise or genesis of the splendor that was ancient Egypt can be traced back to a single event, an event of paramount importance. That is, well, I'll tell you. Early on, the ancient Egyptians had to find out when the Nile was about to flood and bring the silt for the mud and the lifeblood. Otherwise, you would have been nipped in the bud. An Egyptian crew had a clue. It came out of the blue. But that's not the story of today. We all know that the pharaoh was able to muster a cluster of courtiers and a vizier to enhance his career and add to his luster. One such vizier was Meriruka. Meriruka collected over 100 titles, yet in his pastime, in this leisurely moment, he loved to depict the seasons. Here in Meriruka's studio, he is composing, he's drawing the seasons. Was he enamored with the transition? Was that a moment of meditation? A penny for your thought, Vizier Meriruka. The transition of the season. So we have Achet, Peret, Shimu, three seasons in ancient Egypt. Flood, growth, harvest, FGH. And the flood, growth, harvest, the alphabetical order holds the logical and chronological order. FGH, flood, growth, harvest. Flood, growth, harvest. Most importantly, how do you write them in hieroglyphs? You can pretend you are Meriruka or a scribe thousands of years ago, and you see, Einstein once said, example is not another way to teach, it is the only way to teach. So every time we write a new hieroglyph, it's just another way of exercising your knowledge of hieroglyphs, and we spell it out. When in doubt, hieroglyph it out. We have the vulture, this Egyptian vulture, that's an A, followed by this circle, placenta, kha, and finally a T, a loaf of bread, that's a T, achet, that's a flood. You see, in the middle you have some sort of a determinant. It shows that we are in the season of the flood. How do we know? We have a pool of lotus flowers. Lotus has become an emblem of many things, including the flood. Because think about it, if it is flooding, what do you get? Maybe a lot of fish, tilapia, that's another story, but also a lot of lotus. Lotus is everywhere, and now it's being flooded, carried by the Nile flood, just like the silt, but more visible, more tangible is this beautiful lotus that would become columns. In my eyes, it's like I can see columns of lotus now. It's a temple when the Nile flooded ancient Egypt. Yes, I come from ancient Egypt. I'm a walking, talking hieroglyph. So that's Achet, the flood, the inundation. Peret, the growth seasons. You see, you can feel it. There's a seed. Now you can plant the seed. Thou shalt reap what you sow. And you have this house. This house is per. It reads per. Followed by a mouth. That's also an R. In case you have doubt, then you have an R to emphasize it's per. Then the loaf of bread, you remember, that's a T. So peret. Peret is the growth season. How do we know it's a season? Look at the sun disk. That establishes a chronology. It establishes a time dimension. Achet, peret, and finally Shimu. Shimu. Look at the pool. This garden pool, if it has water, normally it has water. Sometimes you find this sign beautified, embellished with some flowers or striations indicating water. So when you have this water and you make a splash, so that gives you the ish sound. So this pool gives us the ish sound, followed by three ripples of water. That's moo, moo. Moo is indicated thanks to three ripples of water. Shimu. Shimu is the summer, that is the harvest. That's a time of celebration. The harvest season. You can have a like Sham Nassim of today. If you are living in Egypt, you must know about Sham Nassim, which sounds like the smelling of the breeze. You have this breath of fresh air. And we don't want to corona here, so we need a breath of fresh air. And that brings us to the three seasons: flood, growth, harvest, achit, perit, shimu.